Hello guys, and welcome to another tutorial. Today we're going to keep working with the sofa. This time we're going to start creating the cushions. These ones. You will notice that they are pretty much the same, really similar, with some tweaking, and this is the result we're going to get at the end of this video. Hope you enjoy it, and let's start. Okay, this is the result that we achieved the last video. I just made a few changes. For example, this one is the object I showed you how to create in the last video, but I really get too excited modifying this, and after video I have to tweak it a few things because it was overdid it, but yes, this is the result you must get. Now for the cushions, we're going to add a cylinder, and with F6 I'm going to use 24 vertices. We're going to rotate this 90 degrees and scale. Okay, this is too big. Let's scale it, and I'm scaling Shift Y. Okay, that's good enough. Now we're going to rename this object cushion, but we're going to have two kind of cushions. So this is going to be A and 1, because we're going to have 4 of this type. So that's how we're going to name this. Now slash I'm going to apply rotation scale. I'm going to leave half of this. We're going to be using mirror again. Now this is the base. We are going to start by extruding this, scale it. Okay, we're going to select this loop and extrude it, maybe like in here. Okay, going to get close in the tree view and add a lap cut in the middle, move it in y-axis. So now the same lap cut, okay, the same loop I'm going to extrude, and I'm going to scale it with y-axis. Okay, let me see, scale it. That's not the way to do it. My fault. In here I have to extrude this, scale it, shift y-axis, maybe like that. Now I'm going to move this lap, I'm going to move it in y-axis. Okay, there it is. Let me check. Remember, try to use subsurf once you have the basic shape of the object. Oh, I'm not going to start creating this object with the subsurf because we want to achieve the basic shape and then just modify it and add lab cuts for subsurf. Now this in here is looking weird. We're going to modify this. Select lab cut. I'm going to move it in y-axis, and there it is. We're going to add another lab cut in here, scale it, and this is kind of the shape we want to achieve. What I'm going to do, I'm going to add a lab cut in here. These faces, I'm going to scale this y-axis and move this edge y. So these objects, we are going to create a texture, or we're going to use a texture for this object when texturing, and right here, let me show you, is where is going to be our scenes to create the UVs. So it's really important that we create the model thinking about that. Okay, now I'm going to add subsurf, and you will notice that this is looking pretty much like the image or the scene I showed you at the beginning of the video. All we have to do is add some lab cuts because we want to have the shape. Okay, I'm going to add another lab cut in here, like there, and I'm going to scale it. I'm going to scale both. Shift y-axis, very important. Okay, and this one is going to be bigger. Okay, you will notice that here we have a weird behavior of lighting. We're going to fix that later. For now, we have to add some lab cuts. For example, in here, we're going to use .8, and these faces in here, we're going to scale them in y-axis. So this is going to be looking better. I'm going to scale this, shift y-axis, and these faces in here need to be scaled. I'm going to do another instruction here. I'm going to extrude. Okay, all faces, select everything and extrude. I'm going to scale this and extrude and scale it really much, like in here, and move it. Now I'm going to select all these vertices and move it. Okay, we need, I'm going to delete this edge loop, and we need a loop cut in here. I'm going to move these loops in here, or the vertex, and I'm going to move them in y-axis. Same with this, and this is going to rescale it again. Let me see. We have to check. Okay, I got something. We are going to scale this object in here. We're going to scale it to y-axis because this should be smaller than the rest of the object, and these faces in here, we're going to scale them to y-axis again. Okay. This loop in here is going to be scaled again. Should be the bigger in the object. Let me tell you. Okay, we're pretty close. Now, I'm going to scale this to y-axis. Remember, our our seam is going to be this edge loop. So sorry guys, that should looks like it's, well, you weren't supposed to be able to see it. Okay, that's it. Now I'm going to duplicate this and move it to Alt 0. I'm going to move this to Alt 0 layer, and this is going to be our backup. Just in case. Okay, now we have the same thing that we have with the sofa. This is like too soft and too perfect. What we're going to do is we're going to add some lap cuts, maybe 2 or 3, and we're going to move it. We're going to select this and we're going to move it in Z-axis, scale it to Y, not too much, but we're going to make this object looks like if it have too much time in that sofa. I'm going to make this lab bigger and this is smaller. this bigger, and this is smaller. I'm going to scale this again. Okay, this is looking kind of weird, so I'm going to scale again. Okay, now I'm going to move a few things like this. I'm going to rotate this. Okay, just a little more, not too much. Okay. Something I like to do is that, for example, I did this side thinner and this thicker because it creates a contrast, and you notice that they are not the same object duplicated. So for example, with this object, this is going to be big, not that big, and when I create the other cushion in here, that one is going to be smaller, and in that way that's going to help our scene to be realistic. Okay, by the way, be sure that this object in here, don't be touching. Okay, you should be touching, but let me show you. It should not be doing this. Okay, indeed I'm going to move it even more in Z-axis like that. And this one, I want to check if you see. I'm going to move this. I'm going to move this in Y-axis just a little, and I'm going to move this just a little, like in here. Okay, I found that there is a hide object in here. I'm going to watch. What is it? Okay, I have a backup in here which should not be existing, so I'm going to delete it and continue working. Okay, now okay, maybe that's enough. I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm going to rotate it Z-axis, and yep, Z-axis 90 degrees. But that's not working because we have all these left cuts, and I don't want to start working from this object. I'm going to duplicate this, our backup, and I'm going to I duplicate the object. There it is. Okay, now that I have bring this object to this scene, I can compare this one to the original, and I notice that there is not too much difference. So I'm going to make a few changes with this one that I have selected. Just like this, and okay, now we have a difference. Now I'm going to move this. Okay, this is enough, and I'm going to move this in here. Okay, I'm going to rename this to have everything really clean in the outliner. And of course, we'll apply mirror. I'm going to add in here, I'm going to add at least 4. You can add 5 if you want. I'm going to add 4. I like the number is not too much resolution, and you will notice the difference between one object and the other. I'm going to add 4 in here too. Okay, this side is going to be rotated in y-axis with a positive number, and when I create the other in this side, that's going to have a negative number. That way we're going to make it look different one to each other. Maybe we can use proportional editing, but that's too much. With G, I'm going to select the right how much is going to be affected by proportional editing, and I use right click to cancel. O is the shortcut, and let me see. Okay, I'm going to move this Z-axis, this one. I'm going to scale this. I'm going to scale this in a negative number, this one too, and I'm going to move this in Z-axis with a negative number again. Okay, I'm going to move this in Y-axis. Okay, I have to move this in y-axis, and I have to rotate it in y-axis. Move it in z-axis, rotate in y-axis, just to don't touch too much this object. Okay. Last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to scale this just a little to make it just smaller. And bless you. I'm going to duplicate this cushion here. I'm going to scale it in x-axis in a negative number. Of course, this is not going to be the result at the end. I just want to show you. And I'm going to scale this in y-axis negative, and same with here with this one. Okay, yeah, we're going to get something like this at the end, because, well, I'm going to create from the backup this this one in here and this one in here to make it look one different to each other. So that's it, guys. Hope you learned something, and keep practicing. See you